I need a Magicka DK build ASAP, but it has to be easy, powerful, perfect, unkillable, unmerciful, contain meat, cheese, lettuce, mayonnaise. Hold up, alright. How about this? No, not you, Kevduit. Go make some more Stamblade builds. I want a Magicka DK. But I did make one, and it's actually really fun to use. But does it? Yes. Contain? Mayonnaise? No, then stop wasting my time, you. Welcome everybody to the very first time I decided to release a build that is not a Stamina Nightblade. Now, of course, this is me we're talking about. I just love screwing around in ESO and making builds that are so absolutely over the top in some areas and will more than likely never be meta because I am the guy that likes killing meta users. Today I introduce to you Flames in Your Face Magicka DragonKnight build for PvP. So then, starting off, we've got our boy Light the Firefight Knight here, a Dark Elf Dragon Knight with an attribute pool of 56 Magicka, 2 extra health, and 6 stamina. Because you all know what the DK Grandpappy used to say. Do you think road dodgers grow on trees, laddie? Anyways, let's start with that beautiful armor. To start things off, you're gonna want 4 pieces of Silks of the Sun, armor and/or jewelry, and 1 flame destruction staff. Then, for the flip side, we've got Night Slayer, 4 pieces of armor or jewelry, and 1 weapon once again. Finally, your monster set, Infernal Guardian. You can go either heavy or light armor with these bad boys, preferably with Impenetrable or Divines. Once again, we're going for heavy amounts of damage here, so focus on having around 4 pieces of Divine's armor, which reminds me, Apprentice Stone is what you want for your Mundus, and 3 Impenetrable, then either infused or defending on your weapons. Both will come in handy. Now make sure to glyph up that armor with tons of Magicka, and the jewelry with tons of spell damage. And finally, your Silks of the Sun weapon, a flame damage glyph, and your Night Slayer staff, an oblivion damage glyph. But Kevduit, you have to switch bars in order to achieve your different 5-piece sets? That doesn't sound at all practical. Oh, Question Elf, that's because you're a lazy piece of garbage stationary NPC who lives on a bench. Now, I understand that switching bars might be a new concept to PvP. Almost no one does it, until now. So, your Night Slayer bar, when you've got all 5 pieces active, is super buff bar with the extra benefits of extreme heavy damage attacking. So then by combining the heavy attack focus set Night Slayer with the ability Molten Armaments, which, by the way, deals increased heavy attack damage for a short time, you'll be dishing out absolutely tragic damage to your enemies, and that is before pumping out all the flame damage, making your enemies react something like this. With that being said, on the buff bar, some abilities to look into would be Elemental Susceptibility, Flame Clench to knock them down and potentially follow up with a heavy attack, then you've got Molten Armaments, Hardened Armor, Green Dragon Blood, and finally, the ultimate Fiery Rage. Right there, you've got the moves to lower the resistance of your enemies, a knockback, major sorcery, and heavy attack buff, your own personal resistance shield, and finally, your heals. Now, switching over to your primary attack bar, which has all of the flame damage with the Silks of the Sun stuff, you've got Dampen Magic to proc your Infernal Guardian, Engulfing Flames, Burning Embers, Flame Lash, Flames of Oblivion, and finally, Ferocious Leap. So congrats, boys and girl scouts! You've earned yourself the Fire Building Badge! Whoa, what does that mean, Scout Leader Kevduit? Well, Nature Scout Norman, you're ready to singe your enemies down to their bones. But first, a message from our sponsor. Or at least a message from something that will probably annoy most of you just as much. The Champion Tree. You shut up, Franklin. I might not have gone to college for champion levels like some ESO players have, or at least make it sound like they have, but I still try. So, what you're looking for is heavy flame damage, resistance, and recovery with some possible slight roll dodging on the side. Which means you've got 70 in Thaumaturge, 25 in Staff Expert, 60 into Elemental Expert, 30 into Elfborn, and 35 into Spell Erosion. Then you've got 50 into Tumbling, 10 into Shade, 20 into Tenacity, 75 into Arcanist, 10 into Mooncalf, 25 into Healthy, and 30 into Siphoner to lower your enemy's recovery. Finally, you've got 40 into Hardy, 35 into Elemental Defender, 35 into Thick Skinned, 25 into Light Armor Focus, 20 into Resistant, and to top it all off, we've got 40 into Spell Shield, and 25 into Ironclad, especially for that Resilient perk. Make sure to read those extra perks, people! Anywho, everybody plays builds differently. But if you were to play like me, you would start off with Molten Armaments, Elemental Susceptibility, and Hardened Armor. At this point, you're ready for a Flame Clench Knockdown Heavy Attack Explosion if you want. Now before swapping bars, hit Green Dragon Blood for improved health recovery, and if you're in a little bit of a tussle, go ahead and drop Fiery Rage. Then you're gonna swap to your primary attack bar and start smashing down flame damage on all those nerds. Next up, Engulfing Flames to burn their sorry hides some more, and Flames of Oblivion to add that super little annoying Flame Sun from Super Mario Bros. 3 to launch at your enemies. Now remember, Dampen Magic doesn't just put on a damage shield, it also can make Infernal Guardian proc, which will just add to your flame damage massacre of the century. Finally, put on some Burning Embers to deal quick damage and overtime damage, not to mention heals, and Flame Lash for a beautiful spammable ability. Now remember, if your Molten buff is still active, take advantage of that beautiful heavy attack flame damage. So there you have it, a build so hot that when your enemies try and poke you, they're left burning themselves to death, pondering life itself.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
But do you want a build that can cause 300,000 flame damage in 3 seconds using just a pillow and a cardboard box? Because all you need to do that is to...